8 of rap's most infamous neighborhoods. One of the most unique aspects of rap has to do with its autobiographical nature. The idea that the songs a rapper creates are based around real-life experiences that they've had. Because of this, it's not unusual for fans to feel like they intimately know their favorite artists. Often, people and places that were important to an artist will make their way into their music. Because of this, there are several neighborhoods across America that have become well known for their penchant for creating rappers. Often, these neighborhoods will be brought up in songs due to their violent nature, frequent obstacles, or long influence on hip-hop in general. Some neighborhoods are even known for birthing an entirely new subgenre of hip-hop. In some cases, a neighborhood can be made a household name simply because one rapper's meteoric success shed light on that area. Whether a neighborhood becomes iconic because of its long influence on the genre, or because of the way it's depicted in a song, you're bound to know about the neighborhoods on this list because you've surely heard them mentioned in several rap songs. Before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. Now, here are 8 of the most famous neighborhoods in hip-hop. Number 8, Zone 3, Atlanta, Georgia. Wedged in the southeast corner of Atlanta, the many railroads that run through the neighborhood play a larger role in both the legal and illegal economy of Zone 3. Much of the city is in complete ruin, and homelessness runs rampant. Plagued by both drug manufacturing and distributing, the area's railroads are often utilized as trade for narcotics. Zone 3 is known for having the most abandoned homes out of any area in Atlanta, and it's also home to the United States Atlanta Penitentiary. And while this may seem like a bleak picture to paint about one of Atlanta's most infamous zones, the neighborhood does actually have a robust history of producing successful and influential rappers. Ludacris, 2 Chainz, and Young Thug are just a few of Zone 3's notable alumni. Rappers like Lil Keed, Gunna, and Rich the Kid also grew up in that area. And with Young Thug being one of today's most influential and respected rappers in the trap subgenre, it seems like Atlanta will continue to produce notable talent. Thug has been vocal about his love for discovering new talent, and his desire to act as a mentor to up-and-coming talent. Who knows what Zone 3 will produce next? Number 7, Bankhead, Atlanta, Georgia. Yet another famous Atlanta neighborhood, Bankhead, also known as Zone 1, has raised some of Atlanta's most well-known rappers. Additionally, the neighborhood is the setting for T.I.'s critically acclaimed and highly influential 2003 album, Trap Music. Nowadays, Bankhead is a less influential part of Atlanta. However, in the 90s, Zone 1 was considered to be one of the most dangerous areas in Atlanta. After big-time drug dealers, the Miami Boys, fled Florida, the neighborhood was flooded with dangerously cheap drugs, and saw a sudden increase in crime. Even after the Miami Boys' influence diminished, the area would see a long-term struggle with crime. Though the area is also now being heavily gentrified, its troubled past led to the rise of many popular rappers, including T.I., Soulja Boy, Killer Mike, and Shawty Lo. Bankhead might have been one of the first places to set off the Atlanta rap scene, and happens to be the first place where a true public housing project was built. Number 6, Crenshaw, Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles is one of the most important cities in hip-hop history, and as a result, Crenshaw is one of the first 2 Los Angeles neighborhoods to make this list. Many rappers hail from Crenshaw originally, including Ice-T, Ice Cube, and Nipsey Hussle. And while Crenshaw may have not produced as many rappers as other LA neighborhoods, its influence in the genre cannot be understated. The specific inspiration for the neighborhood in the Boys in the Hood movie, and the area is referenced in innumerable songs by artists such as the Wu-Tang Clan, The Game, and Dr. Dre. The neighborhood's high concentration of gang activity makes it a hotspot for crime and the drug trade. However, the area began to receive mainstream attention as rapper Nipsey Hussle began his Marathon clothing store just blocks away from where he was born. Nipsey was using proceeds from his career and brand to fund social programs and decrease gang violence in the area, before his unfortunate death in 2019. Nipsey's death was a sobering reminder of the widespread issues with violence the area still faces. The guy was a beacon of hope for the neighborhood. Number 5, 8 Mile, Detroit, Michigan. While 8 Mile is not technically a neighborhood, it's one of the most well-known locations in rap. 8 Mile refers to a strip of Michigan's M102 highway that is, you guessed it, 8 miles long, and serves as the dividing line between the wealthy and the poor neighborhoods of Detroit, Michigan. Detroit has a long and rich history of music. Artists like Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, and Berry Gordy were all born and raised in the city. A fair amount of rappers like Big Sean and Danny Brown have also hailed from the city. However, it was Eminem that singularly drew attention to 8 Mile and made its cultural significance known outside of Detroit. Though he had mentioned the road in a bevy of songs throughout his career, in 2002, Eminem starred in a semi-autobiographical movie titled 8 Mile, which chronicled his upbringing in Detroit and his struggle to escape poverty of the south side of 8 Mile. The film was massively successful, and the song Lose Yourself even earned an Academy Award for Best Original Song from a Motion Picture. The movie single-handedly made 8 Mile a pop culture icon in the early 2000s. Despite this, Eminem remains the only mainstream rapper to hail from the neighborhoods adjacent to the road. Number 4, Zone 6, Atlanta, Georgia. Perhaps one of the most well-known neighborhoods in all of hip-hop is Zone 6, located in East Atlanta. While Zone 6 is considered to be the capital of all of Atlanta's dangerous neighborhoods, it has also been a major force in the development of the Atlanta sound. Zone 6 has been home to a variety of successful and widely influential rappers. Many of the area's apartment complexes are occupied by heavy gang activity. In particular, the Edgewood Court Apartments complex is a hotbed for criminal activity. Police struggle to control the rampant violence caused by gang conflicts, and Zone 6 has seen a slow but steady increase in crime over the past few years. Despite the troubling increase in crime, the area still has seen a lot of gentrification, and what possibly used to be one of Gucci Mane's trap houses is now a coffee shop bookstore. Zone 6 first gained notoriety due to Gucci constantly referencing the neighborhood in his songs early on in his career. And several years later, we saw artists like Future and 21 Savage, both who are from Zone 6, become bona fide rap superstars. Zone 6 is without a doubt one of the most influential neighborhoods on this list, and is possibly a current capital of modern-day trap music. Number 3, Compton, Los Angeles, California. Though technically considered a city instead of a neighborhood, Compton is small in size, about the same square footage of Atlanta's Zone 6. However, Compton is one of hip-hop's most influential and iconic areas. People from all over the world often drive to Compton to see what the hype is all about. The amount of famous rappers to hail from the city are staggering. From Kendrick Lamar to Dr. Dre to Schoolboy Q, a massive amount of your favorite artists called the streets of Compton home. In the early 90s, Compton became a cultural hub that helped define the West Coast sound of rap. However, perhaps the most influential artists to come from Compton are none other than NWA. Though not exactly the creators of gangsta rap, NWA is often credited with the widespread popularization of the subgenre, and garnering enough attention to bring hip-hop in general into the mainstream consciousness. To this day, NWA remains one of the most successful hip-hop groups ever. Compton's extremely high crime rates, about 6 times more than the average American town, made it a hotspot for gang activity, drug trafficking, and murder. For many years, Compton was considered the most dangerous city in America. Though the city has seen a widespread decrease in crime over the last decade, Compton retains its dangerous reputation. Number 2, Brooklyn, New York City. Before the internet blew away geographical constraints, hip-hop hotspots were relegated to mostly the East and West Coast, and few cities held much weight to the national debate as Brooklyn, New York. While New York City is often known as the city that never sleeps and glamorized for its non-stop bustle, many areas of the city are crime-ridden and dangerous. Likewise, years before the gentrification of Brooklyn spread like wildfire, Brooklyn was one of the more dangerous boroughs in New York. In fact, it's this crime-ridden lifestyle that helped birth 2 of the most famous and influential rappers of all time, the Notorious B.I.G. and Jay-Z. Biggie was arguably the first rapper to ever hold the coveted title of King of New York, and pioneered much of modern hip-hop sound before his untimely passing at the age of 24. Stepping in a few years later to fill the void left by Biggie's death, Jay-Z is widely regarded as one of the best lyricists to ever write. Through his work, Jay-Z helped turn Brooklyn into a living, breathing creature. His songs helped explain his struggles, his misdeeds, and his bittersweet but undying love for the borough that raised him. Because of this, Jay-Z has dedicated millions of dollars to help develop social programs that can benefit the youth of Brooklyn. It was more than just a flex when Jay-Z once claimed that he runs New York. Number 1, O Block, Chicago, Illinois. Located in the greater Grand Crossing neighborhood, just south of downtown Chicago, the apartments known as O Block are on an unassuming street located on the 4600 block of South King Drive. The area is fairly small. One single project complex named Parkway Gardens takes up 3 blocks. Parkway Gardens is basically entirely controlled by the Black Disciples, a South Side Chicago gang. The Black Disciples are well known and have been feared ever since the murder of an 11-year-old fellow gang member in 1994. In more recent years, the gang has had alleged ties to most of the big rappers in Chicago: Lil Durk, Lil Reese, Chief Keef, King Von, and the list goes on. Most notably, O Block is home to Chief Keef, a rapper who is often credited with creating the Chicago drill subgenre when he was only 16 years old. His 2012 song, Love Sosa, continues to be one of the pioneering drill songs. Additionally, artists like Lil Reese and the late King Von all hailed from O Block. Unlike many of the other neighborhoods on this list, O Block continues to be plagued by violence, with gang-related activity actually increasing over the past few years. Interestingly enough, O Block is also the childhood home of one more notable person, former First Lady Michelle Obama, who grew up in Parkway Gardens. Not to mention the fact that the apartment complex is on the National Register of Historic Places because of its architectural significance and role in African American community development. So which neighborhood on this list do you think is the most influential? Let me know in the comments. And before you leave, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to our channel.